Being an active listener is one of the most essential tools that you can have to build relationships. It really is the only way that you can understand another person's perspective. But it doesn't come naturally, and it's not so easy to do.
But you can develop the skills. So in this series, we are going to delve into the science as well as give you some actionable tips and tricks that you can use to be a better listener.
Join us for the Power of Listening series. If you are watching this video, then you know this is video number 4 in the Power of Listening series, where we help give you the understanding and tools to be a better active listener. And this would not be an MVP video if we did not go over, of course, body language. We all know that body language speaks volumes. In fact, it speaks 12 times more powerful than words alone. So it goes without saying that it is incredibly important to have proper body language to show someone that you truly are listening. Now, something that is really great about this is just by putting yourself in the proper body language of what someone would look like who is actively listening, your brain says, hey, we must be listening to somebody. So it helps you to be a better active listener. So if this is a skill that you are working on, you want to be a better active listener, that's why you're here, right? It is important that you understand the body language of an active listener. So let's go through what it looks like to be an active listener.
The first thing we're going to talk about is congruency. So in order to be a good active listener, one thing that you can do with your body language is to create a sense of congruency between yourself and the person that you're listening to. As Christina said, having good physiology signals your brain to be listening, but then it also lets someone know that you are actively listening to them, which is going to encourage them to continue to talk to you. They're going to feel heard. It's going to help to deepen those relationships, and they're going to want to be able to share more with you. This is huge if we want to be able to have impactful conversations. Now, when we talk about congruency, what we're talking about is mirroring or matching. So creating similar body language. If you think about a time where you were watching a good movie and the character within the movie was going through something really sad, right? You share those emotions with them. Your body language will start to mimic that. So you'll find your shoulders are collapsing in a little bit. You may find yourself starting to frown. And you really get into that mental state of empathy, of recognizing the emotions that they are feeling. And this triggers your brain. It actually, in a weird way, gives you a reward. It gives you a neurotransmitter release that says, what you're doing is good. There's congruency between you and the person that you're interacting with. This was shown in a study conducted by Simone Kuhn, where participants were shown a picture of a smile. And then they themselves were smiling, and they were scanned through an fMRI, showing that the reward center of the brain was activated. Now, if they were frowning, say, and they were shown a face of a smile as they went through the fMRI, the conflict portion of the brain lit up. Those are those disassociations that we're talking about when you're having an interaction with someone, when you pull back. So if you can be very intentional with ensuring that your body language is mirroring or matching the person that you're interacting with, not only will it let your brain know that the interaction that you're having is good, that it is a powerful interaction in a positive way, it's also going to let the person know that you're talking to, that you are in tune with them as well. So what this looks like, if the person you're talking to is standing, that means that you yourself could be standing. Now, if the person that you're talking to is starting to really lean in as they're talking to you, you can slowly lean in. Now, we don't want to be really, really aggressive with this. So if someone that we're speaking with crosses their arms, we don't want to immediately cross our arms because we don't want it to come across that we are mimicking someone. But if we're intentional with the minute, really small body movements that we make, we can help get ourselves into a better positioning for understanding what it is that someone's explaining to us, and also ensuring that they know that we are very present in the interaction as well.
Chastity just spoke about congruency and how important it is to be congruent with one another, especially when you're listening. Now, what other physiological things can we do to show someone that we're listening, and more importantly, to help our own brains be better active listeners? Well, let's just think for a moment, what do you do naturally when you're listening to somebody? If you are truly listening to somebody has a really incredible story and you're interested in it, what do? We lean in. We naturally just lean in because we really want to hear every single detail. And if I said to you right now, hey, do you hear that? You're going to go, hear what? We will tilt our heads and expose our ears. This is the universal sign of I am trying to listen. And your brain knows this sign. So when you turn your ear towards someone and you tilt your head and really expose your ear and you lean in, your brain naturally is going to say, we are obviously trying to listen to something. So make sure that you're doing that you're not getting distracted by other things. And of course, giving eye contact. Now, if you have been following this series, you know that the previous video talked about eye contact, the importance of it, the science behind it, and why we need to do it to be great active listeners. So if you have not watched it, make sure to go back and watch that video. On top of leaning in, giving eye contact, turning an ear, there is also another very important tool that I want you to understand. And that is the concept of fronting. Fronting means turning as much of your body towards someone. This shows them that you are present, that you are listening, and it also helps your brain to be present and to be listening. So what I mean by this is turning your head, shoulders, hips, and feet towards the person that you are communicating with, listening to, whatever it is that's happening. You want to make sure that you are turning as much of your body towards them. Easy, right? I know. It's not always so easy. We're typing on the computer. We're talking to other people. We're looking at paperwork while we're communicating with somebody. They're, asking them questions. They're responding. There's a lot going on. So it's not always possible to turn our entire bodies towards the person. So that's okay. Do the best you can. If you can only turn your head and shoulders towards somebody and the rest of your body, your torso is away, that's okay. If you can only turn your hips and your feet towards somebody, that is also okay. Want to know what the most important body part is to turn towards somebody? It's your feet. I know, right? Who would have thought that? You would think your head. Make the eye contact, right? Show the ear. No, your feet are the most important. For being an active listener and helping your brain to say, I am actively listening, your feet should always be pointed towards the person you are listening to. The feet show where the energy flows, where we're going. So if I'm communicating to you and my feet are pointed out the door, my mind is saying that's where my next steps are going. Something out there is happening. That's where I'm going to go. And it stops focusing on the person in front of me. Huge thing to understand. Point your feet towards the person. Mirror and match the person. Have that congruency. Your brain will say, good job, way to go, and it will keep listening. Turning your ear towards the person, your brain will say, what are we listening to? Do you see how these things are so important? That how all of these combined alone will help you be a better active listener. So that's it, right? That's all we need to do is just body language. No, my friends, there's so much more, but this is a huge part of it. So practice, 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 and really make sure that you understand the importance of body language when it comes to listening. Now, there is so much more to understand because there are many other obstacles that get in the way. So make sure that you continue to listen to the Power of Listening series so that you can truly be the best active listener.